Good afternoon, entrepreneurial clinicians, and welcome to Wednesday. I remembered. I got it sorted. I know what's happening. Ah. I am ready for a holiday and a break, which is happening from tomorrow. So after I meet with the fabulous, wonderful, and amazing clinicians in You, the Entrepreneurial Clinician, my husband and I are taking off for 5 days. It has made me realize that we have not had a real break since November last year. And that's very unusual for us because we are big believers in having a week off every 3 months. But husband's cancer, bushfires, COVID, and now my cancer diagnosis have kind of put those plans and made it all a little difficult. But we've got a period of time before I have to start before I'm choosing to start my next round of treatment, and we're going to go away for 5 days. So I'm going to go to the beach, but it's winter, so it's going to be cold. So, hey, Kate Piper, mwah, lovely to see you. I wanted to talk into scarcity today because people are obviously watching these videos. Thank you. And I had someone email me overnight, and I had a couple of messages on Instagram and Facebook. It's why you've got to be aware of all the platforms that you're communicating on. Just asking me to talk a little bit more into what I mean by scarcity mindset, not just applying to money. And I thought, this is one of those things that has become so common sense for me now that I forget that maybe this is something that I could be sharing. We also have a fence being installed because I may need a puppy. And that's being done, and they're actually vacuuming up their mess right now. That's pretty darn cool. But scarcity turns up, and it affects us in 3 ways. It affects us usually around money, it affects us around time, and it affects us around energy. But we're all used to talking about scarcity and scarcity mindset in terms of money. It's like we're scared of money. We've got there's scarcity versus an abundance mindset, and we're always quick to think about that in terms of, Kate, I'll talk to you about the puppy another time. We're always quick to kind of go scarcity versus abundance, and we put dollar signs and attach to dollar signs. But really, money is a tool and a resource. And where else scarcity will turn up for us is in time and in energy. It shows up in time. So I haven't got enough time. I haven't got enough time. I haven't got enough time. My to-do list is too big. I can't fit another thing in. I'm so busy. Oh my God, I'm so busy. All of that sort of language is a scarcity mindset around time. I know this one, and I know where it came from. I have a very love-hate relationship with time, which we're working on. One of the reasons why I don't wear a watch, because when I first started in my career, I was billing time. So my value around my work became attached to the time that I billed. So for me, there's not enough time, not enough time, not enough time, which very quickly turned into there's not enough money, which means I'm bad, horrible, awful person. Because that's the way my cognitive processes work. My emotional processes work. It's not real. So if you are thinking I haven't got enough time, and if you're constantly telling yourself I haven't got enough time, haven't enough time to do my notes, haven't got enough time to do this, haven't got enough time to do that, can't possibly fit in exercise, can't possibly fit in, you're talking the same way you would if somebody told you you needed to adjust your spending habits. It's not helpful. The same thing turns up for us with our energy. And anyone right now who is living with depleted sense of energy, and I know Kate will put her hand up for this as well, but we're all living with a depleted sense of energy. It turns up with, I haven't got the energy for that. I couldn't possibly do that. Now, some of us with the energy thing will turn into overfunctioners, where we will do more and more and more and more because we're terrified of running out of energy. And we create the boom bust cycle of energy, which I spoke into yesterday. So you keep going and 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 going because you're terrified if you sit down for a minute, you won't be able to get up again. It's not doing good things for our body. It's not doing good things for our psyche. And it's certainly not allowing us to have longevity. These 3 things, when they're combined, are going to burn us out. if you are constantly worrying about money, if you're terrified of not having enough time and you feel like you haven't got enough energy, why on earth would you want to get up and go to work or do anything? So if you've got all of those three things going on for yourself right now, I'd really, really want you to take stock of that. Because with the money stuff, I am a big believer in behavioral cues. If you haven't worked that out for me, and we need to spend more time together, obviously. So with money stuff, start looking at the money that's coming in and express gratitude. Just watch the money coming into your bank account, not what's going out, what's coming in. Not saying ignore what's going out, but rather than focus on the stuff that trips us up and scares us, let's focus on the stuff that brings us positive reinforcement and positive reward. Because where your attention goes, your energy goes. So if you are noticing more money coming into your bank account, then you will focus your energy and your time on doing those things that pull more money in your bank account. That's how it works. If you like I used to be, and used to be terribly bad about this whole time thing, time, you really need to have a strong conversation with yourself around you have all the time in the world to do the things that must be done. The person who gets to choose what those things are you and me. So if you know that getting your nutrition in order is important, but you keep saying you haven't got enough time, it's not important enough. If you keep saying I've got to get my notes done and they're really important and I'll die if my notes aren't done, and you're still not putting the time aside to do your notes, it's not important enough. Now, there's no judgment in that. It's just what is important, because we've all got the same 24 hours in a day. So what are you choosing to use that time on? Now, if you felt judged, or if you've got a guilt thing coming up in you because you're not on top of your notes, stop. Because what are the things you are doing instead of your notes? Because you may have some clues there around money and energy. So if you are consistently not prioritizing your notes being done, is there a fear around money, or is there a problem with energy that is not allowing you to get to your notes? Now, that's not going to be the answer to everyone's question, but I'm pretty sure it's an answer to somebody's question right now. When we consistently tell ourselves, I haven't got enough, I haven't got enough time, I'm scared I'm not going to have enough energy, there's not going to be enough money, my budget's never going to meet, if we're constantly we're living on the frayed edges of our being. But what it tells us is we've got more to do and we need to be more. But deep down, what it's reinforcing for us is I'm not good enough the way I am. That me right now is not enough. And herein lies the problem. Now, this is a universal issue. It's a universal fear. You don't have to be a health professional to experience this. But if you are dealing with money scarcity, energy scarcity, time scarcity, we need to have a conversation around your value and your worth. Because that is the way it is showing up. Now, I'm going to end up with a huge vulnerability hangover after talking about this today, because I am talking to myself. I have learned over these past 4 months that if I don't take care of myself first, I won't be here in 6 months' time to make sure that I can keep doing this work. And it's too important for me right now to not do it. So for me this morning, even though I have a really big to-do list, I have emails, even Kate is waiting on me to respond to an email to her. I could have chosen to go, I don't have enough time. I'm scared I'm not going to have enough energy. I'm always worried about not having enough money at the moment. Look at the season we're in. It's just a consequence of being human right now. But I knew that if I didn't spend time working on the movement patterns in my body and giving my body a chance to decompress and do a yoga session, by this time this afternoon, I was going to feel pretty yuck and energylessness and not good. So sometimes we have to shift when we're doing things and how we're doing things to actually break the cycles that we've actually trapped ourselves into. This discussion today is to help bring some awareness to these things for us. It's not about guilt and shame. It's about a conversation. I'm all about making sure we can be the best versions of ourselves to keep doing this work. I do not want to see us burning out and not being able to help the people who need our help. I say this again and again. When I was researching, writing my book, The Entrepreneurial Clinician, it terrified me of how many health professionals leave the profession 3 years after they're being licensed. I don't like that as a level of experience. So I'm really committed to making sure that we do the work on ourselves, making sure that we are in the right place, the best place we can be to keep serving those who need us into the long term. So I am looking forward to connecting with you tomorrow. It will probably be much earlier. I'm just going to do a bit of a recap of the week for you before I head off on my little vacation with my husband by the beach in the cold. It's going to be nice to get away. Until then, go be your awesome self.